In our country this week, there's going to be a great transition of power from one leader to another. And so it behooves us to ask the question of, how does Judaism see leadership? Moshe is our greatest leader. What makes him so great? He actually seems quite contradictory. On the one hand, he leaves the palace, realizes that his brethren are the Jewish slaves. He steps in, and when he sees an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Jew, he puts his own life in danger and kills the taskmaster. He sees two Jews fighting with each other. He breaks them up, and when Sipporah, a non-Jew, has trouble getting water because the shepherds are stopping her, he helps her. And so it doesn't matter to Moshe, Jew, non-Jew, whoever it is, he seems to take action immediately and to jump in even to self-sacrifice and to save those who are suffering. On the other hand, we see in last week's Parsha and this week's Parsha that God says to Moshe, I'm going to give you an opportunity, Moshe. You can go and save the Jewish people. You can go save them. They're your brethren. They're suffering. Go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And what does Moshe do? Seems like the opposite. He keeps saying no. He keeps refusing. He keeps trying to convince God why it's a bad idea, why it will not work. How do we understand this person, Moshe? And what are we to learn about leadership from it? In fact, the Torah tells us very few characteristics about our ancestors, but it does tell us one about Moshe. It tells us that Moshe was ish anav ma'od mikol adam. He was the most humble person there was. And so the Torah, the rabbis tell us, is trying to tell us that humility is the most important characteristic for a leader. But perhaps we see in Moshe that it can actually be detrimental at times. Perhaps it's Moshe's humility that stops him, and maybe he really doesn't think that he is capable, even though the other side of Moshe is somebody who totally wants to just jump in and save the underdog. This reminds us a little bit of the story of Shaul, when King Saul he goes out to war against Amalek, and he fails to kill Agag, the king of Amalek, and he lets the sheep live, and the prophet Shmuel comes to him and says, I'm taking away the kingship from you because you failed to fight this war for the Jewish people and wipe out Amalek. Im katon ata be'einecha rosh shivtei Yisrael ata. You may be small in your own eyes. You're the head of the tribes of Israel. And this, I think, is the great challenge for leadership. How do you at the same time realize you are katon ata, you are small, you are humble, there are those who are greater than you, you have to take advice from others, you have to be open-minded to hear what others think. You have to realize that there are those who are greater than you. You're there to serve the people. That's the small side. At the same time, you have to be able to say, I'm the leader of the people. They need me. I have to step forth. I have to put myself in the fray. At times, Moshe, I think, errs on one side, at times perhaps on the other. The key is to figure out how to get it right in every situation, how to balance the humility, the open-mindedness that's required of a leader, and yet the strength of leadership to jump in and to do what is necessary to be the leader of the people, which at times takes believing in oneself and not always listening to everyone else. And that, I think, is what the Torah is teaching us, and we hope that whoever is the leader of our country, leaders all over the world, leaders of the Jewish people, that they will be able to really take the best from what we learn in our Torah about leadership, to be both humble and to be the leader. Shabbat Shalom.